missing because there was a bit missing out of it. But anyway, okay. That's it is, it's a game that's people. Oh, there we go. It's a game that's for ages 7 upwards and for between 2 and 10 players, and this deck has 108 cards in it. I just saw that somewhere. Oh, there we go. It contains 108 cards. Race to get all of your cards. Must be missing a word there. Use the action cards against your opponents. When you're down to 1 card, don't forget to yell Uno or So that's that. Now, okay, so I'll just deal out some of the cards. So there are 4 colours. There's red, there's green, there's blue, and there's yellow. And then you've also got these wild cards. And there's a few. +2 is there. I think that's it for wild cards. I think that's it for wild cards. Let's put the deck there to one side. And the idea is that you have everybody starts off with 7 cards in their deck. Cards in their hand. And the object is and whatever cards aren't dealt out. I'll just put these to one side for the moment. Okay, so when you start off the game, everybody gets 7 cards in their hand, and what you do is you turn over the first card like so, and that's the card that you've got to play on top of, and this is your draw pile here. And then if for instance, there we go. If for instance then the first card is a wild card, which is 2 + 2 skip, a wild, a reverse, or a +4, and you put that card back in the deck, and you draw another one until you get a coloured card. Okay, so everybody's got 7 cards in their hand, and then you've got to match as each person goes round in turn. If you've got either a 2 or a 9, then you can play that on top of it. And the idea is to get rid of all your cards, and then you're sort of using the wild cards to help yourself, and also help block your opponents, which becomes part of the fun of the game. So I'll just put that over here for the moment, and I'll talk about the cards. So you can have blue, yellow, green or red, and obviously if all those cards are in your hand, and that was the next card that you had to match, you could either put a 2 on. Yep. some sort of restrictions about when you can play these wild cards. Okay, so there's no restrictions about playing any of these coloured cards, but so there's no restrictions about playing any of the coloured cards. This card is skip, which means the next person in the sequence misses a turn. That's skip. And there's no restrictions about playing skip. That's reverse. And so you play that, and then the play reverses of it's going clockwise and gets to yourself. And you play that, and then it goes back anti-clockwise. So the person just before you that's had a turn gets another turn, which can be useful if to try and stop somebody from going out. Okay, so this is the wild card, which you can play any time, and when you play it, you can play it any time, and then you just nominate what colour you would like it to be, either red, yellow, blue or green. So you could put it on a red, for instance, and still stay at red if you want to, or you can change the colour, which is a good way to, say for instance then there's yellows going out, you've got a lot of blues in your hand, then you might play blue to try and change the colour to something that's more suitable for yourself. So that's those three. Draw two. So you can only play that on the blue, on another blue card, or another draw two. That's a draw two. So the next person in the next person whose turn it is after you has to draw two out of it. And there's sometimes with local rules they allow you to stack them. So if you lay down a +2 and then the person next to you has a +2, they lay it down. Rather than picking up 2, they lay down a +2. And then the next person has to pick up 4, unless they of course got a +2, and then the person after them would have to pick up 6. And now this is similar to the draw 2, but this is the +4 or the draw 4, and it's a wild, so you can play it any time you like, but you're only allowed to play it if in your hand you have no other cards of the current colour. So if the current colour was red, you can't have any more reds in your hand, and you play it down. The next person picks up 4, and then you can change the colour to whatever you want, yellow, green, blue, or even keep it at red. And there's the local rule. There's a local rule similar to the draw 2, where you have the draw 4, where you can stack on. The next person has the draw 4. Rather than picking up 4, they lay down a draw 4, a +4, and then the next person has to play 8. And if they by chance have a draw 4, then the person after that has to pick up 12. So I think these sort of the wild cards make it fun. Yeah, so it's a game with it's a game that has I suppose it's a lot of luck, I suppose. There's a bit of skill in it, but mainly luck. What cards you can draw out of your deck. Now, a couple of the was a green 7 there, I could lay that green 5 out, but I'm unable actually, because even though I've got a matching card in my hand, I can play the wild and change the colour. But I'm not allowed to play the draw 4 because I've already got a 5 in my hand that could be played instead. So that's one of the draw 4 is the only one that has a restriction on it. The draw 4 and okay, so then it's about matching the colours. Oh, and then say for instance then, you know, this is your discard pile here, and you run out of draw cards. Then what you can do is leave that there like so. The top one, perhaps reshuffle them if you want to. Yeah, the pile is shuffled, yeah, as best you can. It's hard to really shuffle them when you've got all the people staring at you, wanting to get on with the game. What's that saying? Quick game's a good game. Give it a bit of a shuffle, and suddenly you've got a whole new big draw pile to go on. And it's also illegal to trade cards with any other player at any time, which is, you know, not sure why you'd want to do that. Maybe. I don't know. Now the only another rule is if you've only got, oh, maybe get the 5. If you've only, say, oh, okay, so I've got those 2 cards left in my hand. I play the wild card and call out green, but what I also must call out at the same time is Uno, or you know, to tell everybody that I'm on my last card. And yeah, so, and then that gives everybody an opportunity, I suppose, to have one last go or try to reverse it. Throw a draw 2 or a draw 4 against me, 2 or 4, to make me pick up cards and make sure that I don't win the game, which makes it all part of the fun of the game. So that is, so you got to draw, say the Uno or Uno or something. And if you don't, and somebody calls you out before the next person has their go, then you've got to pick up, draw 2 cards, and yeah, keep going. That's that. I've had these little rules on the cards to I was going to read from those, but that writing is just incredibly small. I have my magnifying glass out to try and read it myself and get out in the good light, but I think it's saying there's something like, oh, in that deck there's 108 cards. I'll wait to move it over so you can see, maybe perhaps see. Try again, 108 cards, 19 blue cards, 19 green cards, 19 red cards, and 19 yellow cards, and I think there is I think there's 6 skip cards, 6 reverse cards. Oh no, actually, sorry, there's actually 8 skip cards, 2 of each colour, 8 reverse cards, 2 of each colour, 8 draw 2 cards of each colour, and 4 wild, and 4 draw 4, so hopefully that all adds to 108 there. Okay, that's in this deck. cards for you to pick up, for me to pick up on there. So there's all different versions from the just one card. And I remember as a kid playing a game. I think it was called Switch, and it was played with a regular deck of cards, probably just one deck, 52 cards. And I think, I think it just a regular 2, whether it be hearts, diamonds, clubs or spades, was a pick up 2 card. I think the 7 might have been miss a turn, and then the 9 might have been reverse. And where's there? I don't know that there was a wild card, unless it was a joker or something we used at the wild, and so it was similar to where you had hearts rather than having the 4 colours: green, yellow, blue and red. You had the 4 different suits, that's it: hearts, diamonds, clubs and spades. And so, say for instance there was a 3 of clubs out there, so you could either put another club on or another 3 on that card, 3 of diamonds or 3 of hearts or 3 of spades on the 3 of clubs to move on. And the same idea, where you had to get rid of all your cards. And 2, that's right, 2 was pick up 2, 7 was skip a turn, and 9 was reverse, or something like that anyway. Okay, so that was and there's been obviously there's different sort of local rules that people can do. Almost everybody agrees on them. As long as everybody agrees on them, then before the game starts, then you can do that. And often that, stacking on the +2 or +4s can often be a so that can be, I think that's the usual sort of a stack. Those stacking on your 2 and your +4, which actually makes it a lot more fun. Well, except if you're the person picking up 8 or 12 cards, but that's sad. So, and also the idea is that if you go out, the original rule was that if you play all your cards, you have nothing in your cards, then people add up all the value of the cards they've got in their hands. I think all the white cards are probably about 20, but like a 2 would only be 2 points and a 9 would be 9 points. And the person that went out would be given all those points from all the other players once they got to 500, which might take a fair few games to get there. Then they'd be the final winner of the game, which is how the game was supposed to end.